Hello, you're welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me on this video. My name is Afolabi-Ariyo if you're seeing me for the first time, and welcome again. So this video is about grief, as in grieving, and ways to support people around you, around us that are grieving. I just want to share some few things that I believe will help you to navigate through that moment of your life. Actually, it's a personal experience that motivated me to want to talk about this. We lost my mother-in-law some weeks ago, and everybody has been trying to cope with the loss. Mama was an angel, very hardworking. Mama hated laziness. She was one of the most supportive people I've seen around. She was down to earth, loving, and very God-fearing. And for some time after Mama died, I saw my husband, grieve in a way that is not common. I saw a part of him that I cannot say that I have seen before, or maybe not so many times. We can't go through life without some really sad moments, like when you suffer a loss, like you lose a job, or a pregnancy, or a pet, especially when you lose a loved one. In moments like this, you are sad and you grieve. As we go through this, at one moment or the other in our lives, people around us to also have their own moments. Being close to them, you want to help them in so many ways. You want to help them get over whatever pain they feel. Sometimes you wish you could just magically, erase their pain or reverse whatever is hurting them. A lot of times you are left confused about what they really need or want. The truth is, most of the time, they don't really know too. Despite the confusion, if you pay close attention and you continue to love and care for them, you might be able to successfully help them. The fact is, people grieve differently depending on their personalities, how hard they feel the loss had hit them, and the circumstances surrounding the loss. Our personalities especially plays a huge role in determining how we grieve and react to things generally. For some people, anger is a common response to grief, and it's usually directed to the closest person or persons to the person that is grieving. This can get you even more confused. When a close person or a spouse is grieving, there is truly nothing you can do to take the grief or the pain away. The feeling of loss is there. The best you can do in that circumstance is to help them cope better with it. They have to go through the process of grief and work through the healing by themselves. So in that situation, what can you do to help? Or if you find yourself in that situation too, how can you help yourself? What can you do to help yourself? One of the things I've personally discovered to help a bereaved person is talking about the loved one that you lost. I lost my daddy about 10 years ago, and that moment, it was almost like, when they say the end of a movie. I never actually thought that I could survive that period, losing him. He was so loved and so special to us. I couldn't imagine it, but then we survived. We are doing fine. One of the things that actually worked for me, it might not be the same with you, but this actually worked for me, is I talk about him a lot. If you are close to me, you definitely know my daddy. Like, you will know him. You will hear a lot about him to the point that you will start to imagine his face. You will begin to feel that, like, he's somebody I knew. Like, you knew him before. The way my children talk about him, you would think that I had them before my daddy passed. There's definitely something that will help. And when you discover that thing, you are going to be fine. You might have to just try one or two things before you eventually get what works for you. The moment you get it, then moving on becomes much easier. But I think it is most likely that you would want to talk about a loved one that passed, except we're not fond of them. When you start talking about them, it's like you are reminding yourself of that loss. But then it's like opening up a channel, like creating a channel to express out, to release out all those emotions that the loss has triggered in you. You need to ease those out for a healthy moving on. Now that my husband lost his mom, we talk about his mom more frequently in my house, given some certain situations or circumstances. We just talk about what she would do, what she would say, things she liked to, you get. And you see my husband smiling. It's a way to find relief. So when somebody around you is grieving about a loved one, join them to talk about that person, that loved one. Bring back the good memories. Talk about the good memories that you had with them, your own experience with them. I believe it's going to do more good than harm. A lot of good. For my husband, I've decided to adopt him. You should not worry. I'm now his mother. I can't be in your life and you are motherless. Duh. I'm your mother. Like, so you respect me as your mother. So I said it's going to be my last born. It was like, why last born? It should be the first. I said, no, you met some people on ground. So normally you join the queue from behind. You don't jump queue. So as a very generous and large-hearted woman that I am, I've decided to adopt him as my last baby for now. So he's the baby of the house and he's doing very fine. He has even won a lot of other mothers for himself. It's like mama was a seed that was sown. My husband is reaping a lot of mothers now and he's doing well. One of the few things you can do is to try not to ignore your pain. Grief is the natural response to loss, and oftentimes the pain can be really overwhelming. But you must not ignore the pain or try to prevent it from surfacing, because it will only make the pain worse in the long run. For real healing, it is necessary for you to face your grief and actively deal with it. By actively dealing with it, I mean do things that can help you feel better. You can create a journal or just write about the loved one, just to say things that you would love to say to them, things that you never got the opportunity to say to them during their lives. You can complete a task for them, you can support their vision or create a memorial, just something you know they would love to do. You can donate to a charity they supported or volunteer for a cause that was special to them. If there's anything you used to do together, like sports, dancing, walking, continue to do those things. For example, my dad's birthday. I told you I lost my dad about 10 years ago, but up till now, we celebrate his birthday. We just do things that we know that he would have done, it would have made us do if we were alive. We just, even before his birthday, we'll be calling and say, okay, this is my dad's birthday is coming. We may not all be together in the same place, but just call, we just agree, okay, this is what we want to do. And on his birthday, everybody, irrespective of your location or whatever, we just be on the same page with that thing. And we feel very happy doing that, because we feel that is a way to celebrate him as being part of our lives. They say there's comfort in routine, right? So it's a way of celebrating your loved one's life and a good way to move on for you. Another thing you should do is to give expression to your feelings. Don't tell somebody that is grieving, don't cry, be a man, stop crying. Crying is part of the process to healing. In fact, it's not a bad idea to cry with them when you feel their pain and you can actually connect with what they feel. You need to also understand that grief can trigger many unexpected emotions like anger, fear, guilt, sadness. But your own grieving process will be unique to you. We express ourselves differently, so we grieve differently. So you don't expect that your partner or whoever is the grieving person we do things the way you would if you were in their shoes. Don't expect them to be you. Don't expect them to do things your way. So if they do things, if they react in ways that are not familiar to you, just try to understand and be supportive, because most times that's all that is required of you. Your understanding, your care, and your presence, being there for them. Most times that's all you can do. Another thing you need to do is give yourself time, or the grieving person time. Don't time somebody that is grieving that okay, you should get over it and move on within a period of time. No, let them take all the time they need. Just be the support they need. You can't rush healing. It has to take its full course. And the truth is, I doubt if you actually get over the loss of a loved one. We don't actually get over it, that feeling of loss. We don't get over it because, like I said, I lost my father about 10 years ago. Just this last week or this week, I still cried. I cried. Kata was all over my face. I lost my voice. For some reason, I had to remember him and some other things, and the feeling was overwhelming. So I doubt if you actually get over the loss of a loved one. The best we do is we move on. You know, they say time heals all wounds. No, I disagree. Time actually doesn't heal the wound or take away the pain. Time only gives you strength. Time strengthens you to be able to cope with the loss. I don't know, maybe it's with me and the few people I know, but if you know that you have lost a loved one and you were able to forget them, get over it, like when you remember them, you don't get this emotional. You think that you are all done, like dusted. You don't feel anything. Why not share your tips with us in the comment section? I personally would like to learn. Let us learn from you guys, because I don't even think I've gotten that right yet. Okay, so would like to learn from you. Drop your tips or your how-to in the comment section. Just know that there is no time frame within which you must heal or move on. Real healing is gradual and it takes time. So the best you can do for yourself or people around you grieving is to allow their free flow of emotions, be the support they need, care as much as you can for them, try to be understanding, and in the end, we will all be fine. So that's it. I hope this video has blessed you, probably learned one or two things, and I also hope that you are able to move on soon. See you in my next video.